From fiery glove fiascos to pit stop blunders, Formula One's wildest moments prove that chaos and comedy can strike at 200 miles per hour. The Iceman's meltdown. Let's kick things off with the king of F1 comedy himself, Kimi Räikkönen, the Finnish driver whose deadpan delivery could make watching paint dry entertaining. But here's the thing that'll blow your mind. The guy nicknamed the Iceman for being emotionless actually gave us some of the most heated radio rants in F1 history. Take Baku 2017, for instance. Kimi's sitting in his Ferrari, car overheating, race basically over. And what's his biggest concern? His steering wheel. Not the championship points he's losing, not the mechanical failure, just his steering wheel. Kimi's leading the race, under immense pressure, and his engineer starts giving him obvious advice. Kimi's response became legendary. "Just leave me alone, I know what to do." Imagine being so good at your job that you tell your boss to literally shut up while you're doing it. And then you win. Fernando Alonso. Now, if Kimi is the king of deadpan delivery, Fernando Alonso is the emperor of exasperated fury. This two-time world champion spent years dragging mediocre McLaren Honda cars to places they had no business being, and his radio messages became increasingly unhinged as a result. The absolute pinnacle came at Monza 2017 during his battle with Jolyon Palmer. Palmer cuts a chicane to overtake Alonso, a move so blatant it made everyone watching cringe. When Palmer gets a 5-second penalty, Alonso's response is pure gold. 5 seconds? It's a yoke. A yoke. But here's where it gets absolutely savage. Later in the race, when Palmer retires due to mechanical failure, Alonso simply asks, "Where is Palmer?" And when told he retired, his one-word response was devastating. Karma. But Alonso's masterpiece has to be his 2015 McLaren Honda meltdown. Frustrated with his car's lack of power, he delivered the line that became an instant meme. GP2 engine. GP2 R. For context, GP2 was the feeder series below F1. Basically, Alonso was saying his supposedly cutting-edge F1 car had the power of a junior Formula car. Brutal, but absolutely hilarious. Valtteri Bottas. Speaking of satisfying revenge moments, let's talk about Valtteri Bottas's transformation from Mercedes' quiet number 2 driver to absolute savage. For years, Bottas endured being Lewis Hamilton's wingman, taking team orders, and generally being treated like the supporting character in his own career. Then came Australia 2019, and everything changed. Bottas didn't just win the race, he dominated it, leading 57 of 58 laps and winning by over 20 seconds. But his victory message became legendary. To whom it may concern you. When asked later who the message was for, Bottas said it would be quite a long list. The man literally told his critics to look in the mirror while he was celebrating on top of the podium. Here's something that'll make you laugh and cry at the same time. Remember Monaco 2021? Bottas pits for fresh tires, but the wheel gun jams. The wheel nut basically welded itself to the car, and despite every tool Mercedes had, they couldn't remove it. The car was retired, and the wheel was finally taken off 43 hours later at the Mercedes factory. That's longer than most people's work weeks, just to remove one wheel. James Hunt. Now, here's where F1 history gets absolutely insane. James Hunt makes today's drivers look like choir boys. This guy had a rumored body count of 5,000 women, had a minibar in his trailer, and reportedly brought flight attendants back to his room the night before races. And then he'd just show up and win championships. When Hunt transitioned to commentary, he gave absolutely zero regard for broadcasting standards. He'd call drivers out on live television saying things like, "He really shouldn't be driving, he's got a mental age of 10. The man was essentially doing roast comedy while commentating on world championship races. This absolute madman was a world champion who partied his way across the globe and still managed to beat one of the most professional drivers ever, Niki Lauda, to the 1976 title. Try explaining that career path to a modern sports psychologist. Pit stop catastrophes. F1 pit stops are supposed to be marvels of precision. 2-second tire changes that look like choreographed dance routines. But when they go wrong, they go spectacularly wrong. Take Lewis Hamilton in Malaysia 2013. After 13 years with McLaren, he switched to Mercedes. Simple enough, right? Wrong. During his pit stop, Hamilton drives straight into his old McLaren pit box instead of the Mercedes one. The confused looks from both teams' mechanics was priceless. But that's nothing compared to the Ferrari double-stack disaster in Malaysia 2001. Ferrari decides to put both drivers at the same time, which should be routine. Instead, Rubens Barrichello's stop takes forever, so when Michael Schumacher arrives, he has to park behind his teammate and wait. Picture the most dominant team in F1 basically creating a traffic jam in their own pit box. And here's a moment that'll make your jaw drop. Super Aguri at Canada 2007. Anthony Davidson suddenly appears in the pit lane with a damaged front wing. The problem? His team wasn't expecting him. They were all watching the monitors, completely oblivious that their own driver needed service. It's like ordering pizza and being surprised when the delivery guy shows up at your door. The 2019 Italian GP qualifying fiasco. Want to see how an entire grid of professional racing drivers can collectively lose their minds? Look no further than the 2019 Italian Grand Prix qualifying. In Q3, every single team sent their drivers out too late. Realizing they wouldn't make the checkered flag in time, all the drivers started racing each other just to get to the line. A highway-speed traffic jam with DRS wings flapping open like a flock of confused mechanical birds. Only Carlos Sainz made it to the line in time, leaving him alone to set a lap while everyone else sat there wondering what just happened. The commentators' reactions said it all. They've not made it. How did that happen? Lance Stroll. Now, Lance Stroll deserves a special mention for his ability to find trouble in the most creative ways. The man broke both wrists in a cycling accident before the 2020 season, then showed up to race anyway with barely functioning hands. You'd think he'd drive more carefully, right? Wrong. First race back, he crashed into his own teammate, Fernando Alonso. Pure Stroll mentality. Overcome a traumatic injury, gain everyone's sympathy, then immediately crash into your teammate. But it gets better. Later that season at Spa, after surviving high-speed crashes and broken bones, Lance meets his ultimate nemesis, a staircase. The man who could handle 180-mile-per-hour racing got taken out by gravity and some steps. Taki Inoue. Here's a story so ridiculous it sounds made up. Taki Inoue, who even admitted he was definitely the worst F1 driver ever, managed to have not one but two separate incidents with the safety car. The safety car. The vehicle literally designed to keep drivers safe became his personal nemesis. First, at Monaco 1995, after his car broke down in qualifying, Inoue was getting a lift back when the safety car crashed into him. Then, in Hungary, his car caught fire, so he grabbed a fire extinguisher to help. Without looking, he walked straight into the path of the approaching safety car and got hit again. The man turned the safety car into the most dangerous vehicle on track. Even in today's ultra-professional F1, comedy gold still emerges. Take the 2020 lockdown period when drivers became full-time streamers. Lando Norris decided to shave his entire head live on stream, creating Baldo Norris. Charles Leclerc got so absorbed in virtual racing that he didn't realize his girlfriend came home. And Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton had virtual crashes that were somehow even more dramatic than their real-life incidents. The pandemic also gave us some of the most quotable radio messages ever. Spanish GP disaster. Here's a moment that changed F1 history through sheer stupidity. Spain 2016. Mercedes teammates Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton are wheel-to-wheel at the start when they collide and both crash out. The contact was caused by Rosberg being in the wrong engine mode, leaving him slower than Hamilton expected. This crash handed Max Verstappen his first ever F1 victory at just 18 years old. But here's the funny part. Years later, when Rosberg was making YouTube videos analyzing circuits, he literally skipped the corner where he crashed, saying, "I don't know much about this corner, let's skip this one." The man tried to edit his own trauma out of existence. The beauty of F1's funniest moments isn't just in individual incidents. It's when multiple things go wrong simultaneously, creating perfect storms of chaos. Whether it's drivers forgetting which pit box belongs to their team, safety cars becoming weapons, or world champions screaming about missing gloves while their cars are on fire, F1 proves that even at the pinnacle of motorsport, humans are beautifully, hilariously flawed. These moments remind us that behind all the technology, precision, and professionalism, F1 is still populated by humans dealing with extreme pressure, massive egos, and occasionally, complete brain fades. And honestly, the sport is infinitely more entertaining because of it. From Kimi's deadpan demolitions to Alonso's exasperated eruptions, from Bottas's revenge to Hunt's wild commentary, these moments have become as much a part of F1 folklore as the greatest victories. Because sometimes, the most memorable moments in racing aren't about who crosses the finish line first. They're about who can make us laugh while doing 200 miles per hour in a flaming car, desperately searching for their steering wheel. And that's the beautiful madness of Formula One, where split-second precision meets split-second stupidity, creating comedy gold that lasts forever. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more such content.